Explain like I'm 5 why are air conditioners only fully on or off, instead of adjustable strength? Why do air conditioners and refrigerators have to keep turning on and off to keep the air within a temperature range, instead of adjusting their output to maintain an exact temperature? Continuously variable coolers exist. They're more complex and thus more expensive, so you don't see them very often. There are variable AC units. They just cost a lot more. More common are two-stage units, ones that can do full blast when needed but do half blast when only a little cooling is required. Fully variable speed are really nice because they help you sleep better, no big swings in temperature throughout the night. But, again, they cost more and most people don't bother spending the dollar. Since new HVAC systems are already an arm and a leg. Air conditioners and refrigerators use a cooling process to regulate temperature. Maintaining an exact temperature by adjusting the cooling strength is complex due to changing heat levels indoors. The on-off cycle is simpler and more reliable, as it quickly brings the temperature down when needed. This approach ensures stability and energy efficiency in maintaining a comfortable temperature range. They do make these type of air conditioners. They are called inverter compressors. They use a different type of motor which requires a lot more electronics to run, which can make them more unreliable. Because the cooling process in AC, fridges, etc. is vapor compression, there's a compressor. It's either on or off. Variable speed compressors have become available in recent years. But the simplest, cheapest option is an on-off motor. Well, it is a case of, do you want a $200 AC unit or a $2,000 AC unit or a $20,000 AC unit? Wait. I see answers that explain how it's cheaper to have refrigeration that goes on and off. I don't know much about refrigerators, but we just has a new AC system installed that is variable speed, as in it does the opposite of your question. This AC runs most of the day at varying power efficiency stages. It's a lot more efficient this way and uses less power compared to our old unit. Because the air conditioners that you know of are the very old ones. Newer ones can do what you describe as wanting them to do. Let me guess, you're in the US? There are inverter ACs which do exactly what you are expecting. They usually don't shut down completely unless required. They can run variable frequencies depending on the load due to inverters. The compressor that moves the freon through the refrigeration system is run at a constant speed to make the system run at best efficiency. You would have to ask the people who design these systems why they don't make variable speed compressors. I would be delighted to have such a thing on the radio telescopes that I work on, because maintaining a very stable temperature in the equipment rooms is essential to collecting good data. A lot of air handlers have variable speed options, coupled with a variable speed thermostat. It operates around a set point. It cools a little below the set point, then shuts down, then restarts a little above the set point. The machine rests a bit in between. A lot of equipment is not meant to operate on a 100 duty cycle. It requires more robust construction, engineering, etc. I have a window unit in my bedroom. Mine has a low energy saver setting. Works for me. AC works basically by compressing and decompressing a coolant. You decompress cool on the side you want cold, allowing it to absorb heat, and compress heat on the side you want to dump the removed energy heat into. It's easier to develop a system to handle a single standard compression rate and pressure system than it is to develop one that can do variable rates. Also, if you find an optimal rate, it's better to use that and just bring the temp down to the target, as opposed to using less optimal energy inefficient rates of compression and decompression. I'm gonna guess you live somewhere with a cooler climate? Grew up in Texas, now live in Boston, and notice a vast difference in the AC technology. It seems like half the people here have never driven in a car before. A vehicle has multiple ways to control the cooling capacity of the AC and has for years. It's not some new technology. If you want that kind of control, it's just going to be more complex, more expensive, etc. ITT people in US not sure of air conditioning system. Not surprised considering air conditioners were not common at all when I went. Only hot states seem to have it more commonly. People are mentioning continuous variable speed, but I recommend reverse cycle split systems. They're basically variable speed, you keep them on and they will hold the exact temperature over time and will save a lot of costs. They also make almost no noise and don't freeze you and make you warm all the time. They are also not crazy expensive but will probably be around $500–$1,500. What? I thought all AC was adjustable? What bubble do you live in? All the refrigerators and air conditioners I have seen are adjustable from Asia to Africa. Have you ridden in a modern car with air conditioning? Fun fact: this is also how most ovens work. They are fully on until they reach the specified temperature, then turn off. Once the temp drop below your temperature -X degrees, it kicks back on again. That's cause you bought the cheap one. Buy the overly expensive fully variable speed system that will automatically ramp up and down and run low and slow to avoid temperature variations. Just don't get pissed at your AC guy and tell him he sold you a piece of crap when he has to return several times to fine-tune the system for your comfort. These systems are a lot more advanced, but like everything they are technologically overcomplicated, to the point that even AC technicians can barely work on them. AC systems work on a complex system involving compressing gas into liquid and taking advantage of what's called latent heat of vaporization. There is a specific amount of heat required to vaporize a liquid into a gas, so the amount the system can cool is almost fixed. There are ways to vary the cooling capabilities, but they are even more complex, pronounced expensive, and are often less efficient. I am not sure what you are referring to. All air conditioner units I've seen. And I come from a warm country where every house apartment 100 will have one. Had a remote where you set the target temp and fan speed. Every air conditioner I bought and discarded window mount had a thermostat, so I don't quite understand the question. It's probably because they're engineered to run at peak efficiency. Air conditioners aren't really cooling things, it's moving the heat. If you had an efficiency of like 500, you're using 1 kilowatt to move 5 kilowatts. But you're taking 5 kilowatts from one boundary and dumping 6 kilowatts in another. Doing anything else would make it less efficient, so you just leave it at that rate until the room you're cooling down gets to your desired temperature. And rooms are usually large enough that you have some wiggle room before needing to start that cycle up again. What do you mean? I've never seen an air conditioner that the temperature cannot be changed. Until recently, it just cost too much to make a system with variable cooling power. While the basic system with one fan speed and one cooling power was plenty good. The benefit didn't outweigh the cost. This is changing with new technology though. HVAC units exist that can vary the air volume, called VAV, variable air volume units. This is not to be confused with a VAV box, which is another component in the system. Some units can also vary the amount of cooling while keeping airflow constant. As others have said, these are uncommon in residential settings, but they are very common in commercial and industrial settings. Because you bought a cheap air conditioner, lol. Variable ones usually aren't worth it unless you're in a really hot climate.